Hello, everybody. Welcome to FREEWrite Friday. For those of you watching live and those of you who are going to watch the replay later, welcome. And if you don't know me, my name is Jessica Lynn Johnson. I'm the founder and CEO of Soaring Solo Studios, which is a company dedicated to the development and direction of solo shows. So I am fortunate to get to work with people all over the world on their scripts and shows. And I also blog for NoHo Arts. I have a blog called Soaring Solo, and it has a bunch of tips and techniques and tools and things like that that you can use in your solo shows. I'm on the advisory board with the Los Angeles Women's Theater Festival, and I'm also a solo artist myself. So that's a little bit about me. I'd love to hear about you. Please say hi in the chat, say where you're tuning in from, where you're at in your solo theater journey, get to know one another. We are all about that in Soaring Solo, so say hi. And the mission of FREEWrite Friday, if you're new to this, is really just to create a supportive space where we can write together for about 20 minutes and learn something new about solo theater. I usually focus on some sort of writing prompt or structural component of a solo show. And that way you can walk away with something concrete every time you come to this session. And if you missed any of the FREEWrite Fridays and you want to go back and catch up, there's a bunch of them now. I don't know how many. I think I've been doing this for about a year. So that's all on my YouTube channel. Just look up Soaring Solo LLC on YouTube and you can find all of the FREEWrite Fridays. And the next one, if you want to come back, is Friday, September 16th at 11 a.m. Pacific, 1 Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. So feel free to sign up the same way you did today and join us for another FREEWrite Friday next month. Just some housekeeping. If you're going to do anything too distracting, go ahead and turn your camera off. Otherwise, I'd love to see you. Make sure you have something nearby you to either write with or record and transcribe later, because obviously we are going to be writing during FREEWrite Friday. And yeah, I'm just going to give you a talking point and then we're going to write together. But this really isn't a space for Q&A or sharing our work. That's more reserved for my free Saturday morning classes or my coaching. This is really, again, just a space to write and learn. Okay. So today's talking point, we are looking at Dark Knight and Destiny. So the Dark Knight and the Destiny. And what I mean by that is, I feel like we've all seen solo shows or just plays in general, even films sometimes, where it feels very nonlinear, kind of purposeless. We're just kind of on an anecdotal ride and we're hearing this happened to me and then this happened to me and this happened to me, but there's no through line, there's no driving force, and there's really no stakes or dramatic arc in the piece of theater that we're looking at. So one of the ways that I think we can avoid falling into that trap is to focus on the Dark Knight and the Destiny. Those are kind of the two different points. And what I mean by Dark Knight is, Dark Night of the soul, a moment of total despair, a pit, just a really challenging time in your life or in the life of the character that you're basing the solo show on. And what I mean by Destiny is the other side of the journey where the character comes out of that darkness and steps into light, steps into hope, steps into some form of transformation, different circumstances. And everything that happens in between the Dark Knight and Destiny is the journey of the story. That is where the arc happens. So taking into account who are the characters met along the way from the Dark Knight to Destiny. What span of time happens between the Dark Knight and Destiny? Is it 6 months? Is it a week? Is it 10 years? Like what is the container of time between these 2 points? What else can I say? Other expositional details, like where did it take place? Was this a traveling story? Was it in one finite location? What are those sorts of details? So thinking expositionally about it as well. But most importantly, what is the transformation that occurred to our protagonist, to the hero or heroine of this journey between their Dark Knight and their Destiny? So I'm going to give you some tangible examples so you can apply it to your own life. So for example, a show that I worked on called After the Fall by Johnny Ray, the story starts out with Johnny jumping from his 3-story apartment building because the apartment building is on fire because a plane crashed into it. Obviously, a highly traumatic event that he lived through. So he survived the fall, obviously, and that preceded then his dark night, losing so much physical mobility, losing his business, having challenges with friends, his romantic life, like everything was just in the pits of despair. And he wrestled with depression and suicidal ideations. And I'm not betraying any trust. He talks about all of this in his show. You can see his show and hear all these things firsthand. But that's the dark night that he was living in. And the journey of the show, as he meets different mentors and wrestles with parts of himself and goes on a physical and internal healing journey, he transforms. And by the end of the show, we reach his destiny where now he's running a marathon. He's fallen in love again. He's found his creativity. He's restored a relationship with his dad in the spiritual realm, but nonetheless, a new appreciation for his father. So we're in a very different space by the end of the show. And we understand that that's what we're tracking from this dark night to this new point of destiny that he lives into. So that gives us the framework for what is this story about. Another example would be Diana Barco in Shattered. So in the early parts of the story, we learned that she's been raped, and everything that happens between her being raped to the point at the end of the show where she's stepping into her power again. She's gone through a tremendous amount of healing and transformation. She's found healing in things like yoga and learning about the chakras and or pole dancing, I should say, not stripping, but pole dancing, and all kinds of other interesting modalities that she finds healing and empowerment through. So again, we have two different points of the journey, and her character is very different by the end of the journey as she steps into her destiny than she was in this dark night. So thinking of your own life, or again, if you're writing about a historical figure or you're writing a fantasy-based piece or a fictional piece, keep thinking of it in these terms of what is the dark night for the character and what is their destiny and what are the things that happen in between that make up the story. Okay, so let me just make sure I covered all my bases with that. I think so. I'm going to set my timer for 8 minutes. And so you don't have very long to be thinking of this concept. So don't overthink it. Don't try and be clever with it. Just really think in terms of what are the action steps that led from A to Z within the dark night and the destiny, and just write those things down. And again, be thinking about expositional details just as much as the emotional internal world. When did it happen? Who were the characters involved? Where did it take place? What are those factual components, as well as the feelings and the transformational components? And just gather as much of that as you can as you write, and just allow this to be a very messy draft. We're not trying to be perfect here. We're just trying to get it out on the page and see what we're looking at. So I'm setting my timer for 8 minutes. And go ahead and be uncensored and let yourself explore this, and I'll let you know when your time's up. About 4 minutes left, 4 minutes. A little over a minute left. Okay, go ahead and wrap up your writing. Hopefully you got something meaningful or interesting out of that. And if you were handwriting or speaking into like an audio device or something, then I would recommend transcribing it into a document later so that you are accumulating your work and making it real, creating a script. And again, just the takeaway of this is we are trying to create a inspiring and impactful play for our audience. So we do want a concrete beginning, middle, and end with a through line, with high stakes, with dramatic tension, and all of those things. So establishing what is that dark night and what is that destiny that our character is striving to reach can really help us figure out what that linear path is to the end of the show. Okay, so I put a bunch of announcements in the chat, and I just want to say, if you have any announcements, if you have a show coming up or something like that, and you'd like to plug it in the chat, please feel free. And I know Catherine Barnes is on this call, and she has a radio play that she did recently. Feel free, Catherine, to put that information in the chat. Definitely, we want to support one another in our creative endeavors in this community. So add on to my announcements in the chat if you'd like. But I'm going to roll through them and give you guys more details. So my class, The Art of Creating the One-Person Play, which is a 90-minute class. I've been teaching it for over a decade at this point, on Zoom now. And the next one of those is happening Saturday, August 20th at 10 a.m. Pacific, noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Again, it's on Zoom. You can RSVP at soaringSoloStudios.com under free stuff. And yeah, you can come with nothing written, and I always give prompts, or you can bring something that you've written, obviously solo theater material. And if there's time, I allow people to share their work and I give feedback. So whatever level of experience you have, you're welcome to join us for that. And if you wanted to work with me in a more professional capacity and get some feedback on your work, I'm available for that as well. Again, just email me at soaringsoloartist@gmail.com for information about our intensives, one-on-one coaching, power pairs, small group coaching, and Heather Dowling, who's an award-winning solo artist and director and developer of solo theater, also is part of my creative team. So she's available for that sort of thing, even if I'm not. So yeah, just reach out and let me know if you'd be interested in that, and we can talk about the different offerings and what might be a good fit for you. I've also been producing an event called Revealed, which is a virtual reading series that we do on Zoom. And it's just a way to feature scripts that are a work in progress. It's not meant to be the final deal. It's a draft of the show, and the ability to have a virtual audience give you feedback, to dip your toe in the water of sharing your story with other human beings. So Revealed is a great stake to put in the ground to work toward. If you're interested in being a part of Revealed and learning more about it, just email me and we can talk about the details of Revealed. It's just an ongoing series that I do multiple times every month. And I would definitely say tune in to Revealed when you get those emails that there's one happening. Tune in, see what it's all about, see if it feels like a good fit for you. And again, if you enjoyed today and you want to come back, the next Free Write Friday is Friday, September 16th at 11 Pacific, 1 Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. And you can go to my YouTube channel to watch the replays of Free Write Friday. I put that in the chat as well. And then this weekend in Studio City / Universal City, California, is Solo Palooza at Theater West. So it's a solo festival that has been going on for, I think, about like a month and a half now, and 2 Soaring Solo community members were selected to participate in that festival created by Theater West. And this weekend is featuring Kevin Neighbors, who's an award-winning solo artist doing his one-man show, Versatile. It's about his experience as a biracial gay man in our society. And it's very creative, lots of multimedia, lots of characters, lots of really important socially impactful content. Yeah, it's beautiful. And Kevin also infuses poetry into his show. So I would recommend seeing that at Theater West. And again, the link is in the chat, Saturday and Sunday this weekend. And then I'm also doing another round of Snacks, which is an open mic specifically for solo artists. That's happening at the Whitefire Theater in Sherman Oaks, California. So that's in the Valley in California, happening on Friday, August 19th at 7:30 p.m. Pacific. You can come and just watch and meet people and get to know people in the community, or you can come and throw your name in the hat. And I'm going to pick people throughout the night, and I will get through as many people as I possibly can. Everybody gets 5 minutes of an excerpt to just try something out. You don't have to be memorized, but certainly if you are, you're welcome to be memorized. But it's just a low pressure, super fun community event to just get a lot of solo work out there and be supported by an audience, an audience of other solo artists. So ticketing link for that is in the chat as well. It's just $15, and it's going to be an awesome, awesome night. And then just stay tuned. I'm doing the Soaring Solo Stars series. I believe there'll be 24 or 26 shows? I can't remember, 24 or 26 solo shows spanning between October and December. I'm co-producing that with Heather Dowling. It's going to be awesome. We're going to feature new shows, old shows, and it's just going to be a celebration of solo theater throughout the fall into the winter before the holidays hit us. So yeah, I will be sending out emails, and there will be more information about that on my website as I finish curating that event. So thank you everyone so much for joining me. I'm going to hop off, but I will leave the chat up in case you're still communicating with each other or jotting down the notes and things like that. I hope you had something inspiring today through this session and made some progress on your solo show goals. All right, bye everyone.